When you have an engaged email list, you have the power to nurture those relationships, provide value, and ultimately sell your products or services to people who have already raised their hand and said, yes, I want to hear from you on a regular basis. I'm Amy Porterfield, ex-corporate girl turned CEO of a multi-seven-figure business. But it wasn't all that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the budget, and the time to focus on growing my small but mighty business. Fast forward past many failed attempts and lessons learned, and you'll see the business I have today. One that changes lives and gives me more freedom than I ever thought possible. One that used to only exist as a daydream. I created the Online Marketing Made Easy podcast to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. If you're an ambitious entrepreneur or one in the making who's looking to create a business that makes an impact and a life you love, you're in the right place, friend. Let's get started. Well, hey there. Welcome back to Online Marketing Made Easy. I am your host, Amy Porterfield. And before I dive in, I've got to tell you, it's the start of summer at the time of this recording. And we have a lake house in a place called Tim's Ford, which is about an hour and a half outside of Nashville. We bought it about 3 years ago and it was a fixer-upper. It was really dumpy. Like so dumpy that I wouldn't stay there before we remodeled it. And for some of you who just rolled your eyes thinking I'm too bougie, well, maybe I am because I don't like spiders crawling everywhere throughout the entire house. It was so dirty and old and it was just gross. I promise you. So, and it needed to just be totally rehauled. So anyway, we took about a year to renovate the whole thing. And then for the last 2 summers, we've been really able to enjoy it, which I love. And I have to say, I don't love being in a bathing suit. So having a lake house and having to be in a bathing suit is just like something I love and something I hate, all wrapped up into one. For my whole life, I've hated being in a bathing suit. But I will say this, I'm just super self-conscious of different areas of my body. However, I miss out on so much if I don't. And I've noticed that Hobie doesn't care what I look like in a bathing suit, but he does care that I engage and have fun with everyone and don't miss out. And so if I don't want to put on the bathing suit and get out on the wakeboard or get out on the sea-doos or jump in the lake or any of it, he's frustrated with me that I'm missing out versus like, it's not even about the bathing suit to him. So I have to remember that I want to engage with the family. I want to have fun. And so I put on the dang bathing suit and I had a great time. And it's just such a great reminder that even though everything's not exactly how I want it to be, or I don't look exactly how I want to look, that doesn't mean that I should delay my happiness or not engage in the fun. And there's a lot of fun to be had this summer. So I don't know. I just thought someone needed to hear that we deserve to have just as much fun as the next person, even with our insecurities. Here's what I wanted to say. I'm like, why am I even talking about this? I wanted to say that I think I care more than everyone else cares, right? I don't think most people that I was at the lake with could give a rip about my thighs, even though I was fixated on them. So I think I'm more in my head than I need to be about things like that. So I was just like, screw it. I'm just doing it. And I'm so very glad I did. So anyway, I don't know why I felt compelled to share that with you, but there you go. So today we're going to dive into a topic that's near and dear to my heart, the importance of building and nurturing your email list over chasing social media followers. Now, my OGs that are listening, they're like, oh my gosh, Amy, you've said this over and over and over again. I know, but here's the challenge. I come in contact with people that have been following me for years that still have not prioritized their email list for multiple reasons. It takes too long. I've tried everything. I'd rather focus on this, or I've got to make money, Amy. I don't have time to grow my email list, or I need to grow my social media following before my email list, which is not true, by the way. Whatever reason you have, I know that it keeps coming up for my listeners again and again and again. And many of you have still not focused on growing your email list. And I really do believe this shorty episode could be the kick in the butt that you need to finally make that change so that business can be easier, so that you can make more money so that you have more opportunities than you have now with a small or non-existent email list. So I believe the lesson I'm going to remind you of in this episode is worth its weight in gold. So specifically in this episode, I'm going to share with you the many reasons. I'm going to remind you of them if you've already heard them, or if you just haven't been listening. I'm going to give you the reasons why I've always been a firm believer in the power of your email list and why you should make it a priority in your business and what it looks like to make it a priority in your business. Because you may be like, Amy, I am growing my email list, but you're not necessarily making it a priority. And that's the mindset shift and really the strategy shifts that I want you to make from this episode. So some of you might be thinking, okay, email's not where it's at, Amy. Everyone's talking about TikTok or Instagram, and these are the keys to success. I recently interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk. He has this new book out all about social media. And you might even be thinking, like, look at Gary Vee, someone we've been following for years and years and who is so on the cutting edge of what's working. And he just wrote a book about social media. I can guarantee you that man has an email list that makes him a lot of money. And I can guarantee you that he does use social media to grow his email list. And also, he might have a different take on the importance of social media. But at the end of the day, the goal is for you to build your business, make a bigger impact. Of course, make money for you and make a change in this world. And I believe that there is a great alignment between social and your email list. But what I'm seeing and what I'm concerned about is the majority of people in my audience and just in the online world that are building businesses put social media as a priority over your email list. And I am here to tell you that is a very big mistake. Now, the truth is, social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram have become even more popular, and they continue to be a powerful tool for building your brand and reaching new audiences. Full stop. I believe that. But here's the thing. Having a massive following on social media doesn't necessarily guarantee you'll make money in your business. Here's something I want to point out. There are so many social media influencers, especially on TikTok and Instagram, that have millions of followers. And I have been on Zoom calls with many of them. They have reached out to me and they have asked me how to monetize what they have. And I'm not saying this to brag, and I rarely brag about my business. I'm very careful of that. So I just need to say something that sounds very arrogant, but very true. But in many of these cases, I am making millions and millions of dollars more than they are. And they have huge social media followings, like millions and millions of followers. So it is proof that just because you have a big social media following doesn't mean that that's going to equate to revenue. And even if you have a great offer without an email list, I promise you that huge social media following that a lot of these influencers have, they are leaving so much money on the table by not having an email list. And it goes without saying that when you build your business on rented land, social media, you are renting it. You do not own it, and it can be taken away from you or changed literally overnight. And when you put all your eggs in one basket, you're essentially playing by someone else's rules. And for those of you who want to be your own boss, want to call the shots, you are allowing a platform to tell you how you're going to run your business. That's not the case with your email list. Social media, you are controlled by algorithms. Your email list, you are in complete control of that email list. It's a whole other ballgame. Your email list is like your little slice on the internet, a direct line of communication with your audience of buyers and potential customers. And let me tell you, that's where the real magic happens. When you have an engaged email list, you have the power to nurture those relationships, provide value, and ultimately sell your products or services to people who have already raised their hand and said, yes, I want to hear from you on a regular basis. So I would say that social media is passive. When you put something in the newsfeed, very passive audience. Email list, you have a more engaged, active audience. They are more likely to pay attention in email versus social. And here's something cool about email versus social. So for those of you who hate TikTok trends, who hate pointing to things on video, like, the little trend where you point to this and that. I like cringe when I see videos of me doing that in the past. I told my team, no more pointing. I'm not pointing at anything. And those of you who hate like TikTok dances, you see them and you're like, I will never do that. With social media, you do have to entertain more than you do in email marketing. And email marketing, when you find the right audience, you can get right to the point, tell them what they need to know, give them their marching orders, and those that trust you, which you build that trust over time, they will click, buy, engage so much easier than on social media. Email marketing, you don't have to follow the silly trends that entertain, delight. You don't have to do that kind of stuff with email marketing. So hopefully just right now I've piqued some of your interest, like, ooh, she's got a good point there. It's just different ball game and a different experience. So I hope that enough right there, if that's like all you needed to hear to say, let's focus more on email list building than we do on social media for just that reason alone. Now, for some of you, that's not enough. So let me keep going. But my goal at the end of this episode is to shift your mindset around putting time, effort, money, focus into growing your email list more so than social media. With your email list, the algorithm can change, but that doesn't affect you getting into the inboxes of those that matter most. So right there, you're more in control. Not to mention, email marketing conversion rates are significantly higher when compared to social media marketing. So this we have seen over and over again. The stats keep coming. In fact, according to HubSpot's 2023 marketing statistics, so this is a fairly new report, the average conversion rate for email marketing is around 8%. That means that for every 100 emails you send, so 100 people receive your email, 8 people take the desired action. On the other hand, the average conversion rate across social media platforms hovers around 3%. So that's very, very different. So this means that email marketing efforts outperform social media marketing efforts significantly. That's more than double the conversion rate. And I get it. Building an email list does indeed take effort. But let me ask you this. Would you rather put in the work now to build something that you truly own and control, or would you rather pour your energy into a platform that could change the rules at any moment? That's why I'm such a huge advocate for focusing on your email list over chasing social media followers. Because at the end of the day, your email list is the key to creating a sustainable, profitable business that isn't at the mercy of ever-changing algorithms or platform updates. By the way, do you remember last year when Facebook and Instagram went down? It was like a really big deal because people had no way to connect with the outside world. It was a little bit daunting. We felt like, is anyone out there? What is going on? For both Facebook and Instagram to go down on the same day, big deal. Imagine being in the middle of a launch or a promotion, depending solely on these platforms to get the word out. That's where I get really concerned. I teach my students how to launch digital products. And if my students are solely focused on social media, or let's be honest, you're not 100% focused only on social media over an email list. I get that. Most of you listening to me right now, you have both, but I want you to be really honest with yourself. Where do you spend most of your time? Posting on social media, thinking about what's going to work, looking at your likes, your followers, or really getting a solid email marketing strategy down that you execute on a regular basis, and you're checking your email list growth more often than your social media list growth or social media follower growth. That's what I'm talking about. I know I'm not talking to you in the sense that you only focus on social. I just want to change your perspective and see, can we focus more on email list growth versus social media? That's where I really want to hit home the importance of this. And I've told this story before, but a few years back, Facebook and Instagram went down, like their sites at the same time. Both sites went down. And that day I had sent out an email. It was coincidental that it was that day. And after 2 emails, we made $17,000 on a day that social media went black. And I always just remember that story to say how important it is that I'm in control of my promotions and launches and the revenue I bring in. And I never want to be at the whim of social media when I can't control any of that. Also, we did a Black Friday deal last year, and we sent 2 emails out and used very little social media because we knew competing against social media during that time, Black Friday, holiday weekend, so much going on. We believed that we could have so much more impact with a really great subject line landing in the inboxes of those people who've raised their hand that wanted to hear from us versus getting lost in the sea of social media promotions and posts during that weekend. So we use very little social media, 2 very strong emails, concentrating on the subject line to actually get open because people were getting a lot of emails during that time as well. And we made $100,000 with a 2 email promotion. And it's just those moments that I just am reminded how important it is that I stay focused on growing my email list because I believe it literally is the difference between hitting my goals and not hitting my goals. Like I would never tell you that social media is why I hit my revenue goals. I know it's not. And also, I think I attract a lot of people that are like me. And I think one of my biggest arguments against social media, and I know this is not for everybody listening. Some of you listening, you're killing it on social. You love social. You love to know like what trends are working on social and try them. And you're getting tons of views on your reels. But I know the majority of those listening, that is not happening. You don't love social. You'd rather not have to do the things that it takes to get the big views and the big following. And I wouldn't either. I have a full-time social media manager. She's incredible and I love her so much. And she does great work. Our social is really good. But I'll tell you right now, it's not because of me. It's because I have really smart people around me who excel in understanding social media strategy. But if it was all up to me, which many of you at this point in your journey can't afford a full social media manager. I couldn't in the early days of my journey. I didn't actually have one till like 7 or 8 years into my journey. And so you're doing it on your own and you don't want to be doing it. I just know that. And so if I am attracting a lot of people like me and you'd rather not have to do all that it takes to grow your social to a point that it does absolutely make you a lot of money and a lot of impact, email marketing is easier than that. But the reason it doesn't feel like that right now is because you do need to set up the foundation for your email marketing. And I have many, many episodes on online marketing made easy about that when it comes to a really great lead magnet. I have an episode about troubleshooting when your lead magnet is not working. We talk about what it takes to set up your opt-in page and drive traffic to it and get people to sign up for the lead magnet. I have so many episodes. You can do a search. If you go to the podcast tab on my website, if you scroll all the way down, you can actually do a search and type in list building, and you'll get all my episodes where I focus on list building. And so just know that once you set up that foundation, it does start to happen more organically. I always say this, but I don't wake up in the morning and think, I have to grow my email list. I know that because I put the foundation in place and I pay attention to what's working and not working, that I don't have to pour over it every single day for it to work. I want to help you start to grow an email list so that all of your future promotions are out of this world, like beyond your wildest dreams. I want you to have the assurance that a revenue boost is always just 1 email away. I believe that. I want you to hear that one more time. I want you to have the assurance that a revenue boost is always just 1 email away, because it surely isn't one social media post away. That's another perspective I want to tweak for you. 1 email post is not going to make you the kind of money that one really well-written email with an engaged email list is going to get you. And I don't believe you have to have hundreds of thousands of people on your email list to see the kind of success I'm talking about. I have so many students who have launched digital courses with lists that are, some of them are in the hundreds, some of them are in a few thousands that make six figures. Like it absolutely can be done. And so that is the part that I want you to believe me. I've seen it done. I'm not teaching something that I think is in theory, but I haven't seen the practicalities of it. No, I've seen it with my business, but more importantly, with students' businesses that are smaller than mine. I think that's what matters more than talking about my 16-year business, is focusing on people who have just started their businesses and have seen great success because they focused on growing an email list. And I also want you to understand that the value in social media is to help you build something that truly belongs to you. Freedom to build a business that you love comes from understanding what you can control and what you can't control. And you can control an email list. An engaged, loyal audience on your email list that's ready to invest in your products and services is everything to your success. In fact, you'll notice that I rarely sell on social media. I'm always giving people opportunities to sign up for something free and valuable, like a lead magnet or a quiz or a challenge or whatever. But rarely will you ever see me send a social media post that goes directly to a sales page, like maybe 5% of all my marketing. And that's because one, it doesn't work. And two, I'd rather nurture my audience through social and move them over to my email list. And that is where I do 95% of my selling. So yes, the initial work of growing an email list does take time, patience, and effort. But once you are growing your email list and you have the foundation in place, it gets so much easier. I grow my email list every single day, but I do not think about it every single day. And that's what I want for you. One of the best tips is to set weekly, monthly, and quarterly goals for your email list. I know it sounds so simple, but when you have awareness of how much your list is growing or not growing, you're more likely to focus on it. So when it is working, you want to go and continue to do what you're doing. So it's worth it when you're like, oh, I need to create this new lead magnet. Well, I see the numbers that my efforts are working. So creating this new lead magnet doesn't feel so daunting. Or you see that your list is not growing because you're checking weekly, monthly, and quarterly. And those just starting out, just check monthly and quarterly. Weekly might throw you off because it's a slow growth, but monthly and quarterly will feel better. But when it's not working, you think, okay, I am committed to this. I am putting my effort here. What I'm doing is not working. So what do I need to do to tweak this? That's when you go listen to my episode about troubleshooting a lead magnet, or one of the many episodes I have about list growth, to get some new ideas. So you have to believe that I think is the biggest takeaway from this shorty episode. You have to believe that your efforts are worth it. You also have to believe in your heart of hearts that growing an email list, you have to believe what it will make possible for you. So again, no one wakes up in the morning and they're like, I want to grow an email list. But we all want more revenue in our business. We all want to make a bigger impact. We all want to understand our audience in a bigger, better way so that we can create something that is meaningful to them. We all want to nurture a relationship over time by providing valuable, personalized content. We all want our audience to think about who we are and what we stand for and think they get us. That's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I want. We want to be the go-to source of knowledge for our audience. We want an engaged audience. We want all of that. We want direct access to our audience, right? That is an email list. So it's okay if you don't want to grow this email list. Focus more on what you do want. All those things that I just mentioned, I'm guessing you want that, my friend. Because the actual habit of growing an email list happens only when you believe what an email list can do for your business. You have to believe in the strength of an email list. You have to believe the value of an email list before you'll ever stick to consistently growing it and putting the habits in place for you to have an email list that is engaged and thriving. So it's a mindset shift, my friend. You believe of what this email list can do for you, you will be more likely to show up for it. Okay, So I went way longer than I wanted to. I wanted this to be 10 minutes, but I had a lot to say about it. And I hope this was the shift you needed to say, okay, Amy, fine. I'm going to put more effort into my email list than I am in my social media. And I'll look at my social media as a means to growing my email list. And I know that I am one email away from more revenue and a bigger impact if I actually put the focus here. That's what I'm hoping you got from this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you Thursday for more entrepreneurial goodness. Bye for now.